Hey guys, Gavin here. It's been a minute since I uploaded anything. So I'm going to do a really quick tutorial today of how I did woodchip loads for my woodchip hoppers from Walthers, the original 7,000 cubic foot chip hoppers, which are discontinued, unfortunately. Hopefully Walthers will wise up and make some more here in the future, considering how much these go for. Update, real quick though. This is that GS50 that Crosstime Models did. As you can see, I've only marginally gotten a little bit further on it with some decals. I've only been home from the military for roughly about 2 or 3 months, so I really haven't had time to really finish it because I've been doing so much else. Um, this, the CSX one, that's about to be lettered for Chattahoochee Industrial. I repainted it. Anyway, getting sidetracked. So basically, I refuse to pay $15 or more for the original old stock Walthers chip loads, and that's $15 before shipping on eBay when they do come up. It's simply not economical. If you have access to sheet styrene and sawdust, you can make your own. So I took this really thin sheet styrene. It's really thin. It's like, yeah, it's super thin. I think it's like 0.5. Actually, here we go. I have the original thing. So it is actually, yeah, 0.5 millimeter thick, evergreen. Um, they actually sell it at Hobby Lobby now. Actually, I live in Georgia, and they finally started selling evergreen sheet styrene at Hobby Lobby, which is good. So anyway, I took a sheet of that and I took the chip hopper and put it upside down on the sheet, and I traced around the edges. And then I cut inward. I cut inward on the inside of the line by just a little bit to make sure it would fit. And it took me some cutting and some filing and some sanding to get it to fit right. But once you roughly get it cut to the shape of the car and you file it down and it plops in to where it'll fit, it's going to be really floppy. It's gonna want to bend on the ends where there aren't any of these supports, and this is the highest part. So it's gonna want to do like this number over the middle. So what you want to do is you want to take some square strip styrene, which is what I was using. You can use strip wood if you really want to. You can use strip wood and balsa wood for the base instead of styrene if you really want to. I just used styrene because that's what I had laying around. And then get yourself some sawdust. I picked this up from where I was working on building a new fence for the house for the farm. And we were cutting inside an enclosed area with the saw. The saw had it was like a bench saw, so it had a catch for all the sawdust. So I just emptied that out and I sieved it. But you're gonna cut the plastic to length, the strip styrene. You're gonna take this strip and you're basically gonna glue it in the middle on top, about centered. The one that I used for this one was about from here to there, so it was a little bit longer than this piece. But anyway, so once that's done, once the strip is actually glued in the middle, I just brushed a coat of white glue over the whole surface, put some chips down, sawdust down, and then I piled it up. And you can kind of see that I did like just some random piles. It's not all one height. And then I basically heaped it up, and then I took a mix of white glue and water, and I took alcohol first, and using an eyedropper, I just dripped alcohol over the whole thing to break the surface tension. Then I took that glue and I did the same thing with the eyedropper. I just dropped glue down until the whole thing was soaked. It's still drying right now. This one's not completely dry yet, but once it does dry, you just pick it up, set it in the car, and now you have a wood chip load that, if you already had this material on hand, literally cost you nothing. Maybe about 20 minutes to build, but other than that, it costs no money. And when you're like me and you have about 3-4 chip hoppers or more in the works, you know, it's not going to be economically feasible to buy loads for each one unless you come across if you buy the cars already with the loads, that's different. But this is basically how you do a completely cheap, practically free wood chip load for your cars. And especially for the walthers 7,000 cubic foot cars, getting loads for those is going to be next to impossible at this point. The cars don't come with loads unless you bought them from the factory with loads, and most people don't have the loads for them. They've made custom loads, or they glued the loads down. So that's how I did it. That cost me no money. it took me 20 minutes total from start to finish, with cut from getting the sheet of styrene, cutting it out, filing it down, filing it to fit, gluing that down, gluing down the chips, and letting it dry. And it took me 20 minutes total to get to this point. That's all I've got. I figured I would go ahead and put out a quick little tutorial of how I made this. If you have any suggestions for models for me to work on, or if you have any suggestions for side projects that you want to see done, feel free to comment and let me know. Other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you all later.